All right. Good morning. Good afternoon. Once again, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. So back to my little talk, and I'm doing this on the phone so that I can save the memory on the tablet for reading lights out if I get to it tonight. Okay. How's that for a screenshot? So my question is kind of to you trucker guys, Lou, Countryman. Oh gosh, I know there's three of you, and I apologize. How's that for a thumbnail? I'm trying to get it to see what it just randomly picks up thumbnails, so it's cool if it has a different one. All right, so truckers. Oh, who told me about the kingpin puller thingy? Countryman, I know that. Drinking, TR Outrider used to drive or does. There's somebody else there, and I apologize. My brain is a little fuzzy right now because of bovine scatology, shall we say. Tired from, just recuperating from. I spent hours talking to Mel. Now, maybe she had a smartphone, and maybe she could have MapQuested it, but it's good to have somebody. Bill does that. He delivers buses, and I mean he'll talk for 2 or 3 hours to someone just to driving after hours, after dark, and just continue to just stay awake and stay alert, and just keeps you going. So basically, that's what I did. I let her go sometime this morning. I don't know I did at what time, but I was I would say, I'm guessing about 9 or 10, something like that. Anyway, it worked out. Oh, it's sharp. Okay, sorry. So ideas on getting people from there wherever they are here. Now, a lot of truckers deadhead, they can haul something. There's a lot of guys out there they got their Dodge Diesel dually, or they got their Ford Turbo, Super 450 or their 550 or their 650, and they do independent hauling freight. There's a lot of people out there. What is the network other than getting on the CB, which I know theoretically works, but you've got to be a trucker to talk to lingo or know the lingo to be able to do that. Is there someone that could do that for us? Is there someone who could get Margot help coming from New York, even if they met her en route and just winch the thing up and haul her on down? That'd be a godsend. This morning, last night, whatever time it was, whatever day it was, I don't know. I was map questing, and I could pull it up here and show it to you, but I was figuring, okay, it's an hour and a half to Scotland, Missouri. There's a Scotland, Missouri. It's on I-44, 71, and I-44. Never heard of it before. I've been there many times in the right in that area. Driven it, as a matter of fact, but I didn't know that right off the highway there, off of both those highways, a little bit to the west, looking from you, it would be right about over here, 71, 44, whatever, Anyway, Scotland. You take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll get to Scotland before you. But anyway, I was toying with the idea of, well, if Mel was like really, really trash and screaming and pain and panicking and everything, hour and a half for me to get there, and then I don't need to have that on. 2 hours from there, but anyway, I talked her down to Jane, Missouri, past that point, and said, "Hasta la vista, baby." So I guess she did make it. I got a text a while ago. I said, "Hey, how you doing? Just when you get on your feet, let me know." So she did make it. She's still alive, so that's good. I'm assuming the truck got returned on time, within reason, and everything is kosher, and Vic took care of her. Thank you, Vic. Shout out. Awesome. I can't wait to meet you guys. So other than that, there's a lot of people coming. Now, I want to make this point. I want everybody to listen to me. Okay? This is nothing compared to what's going to happen. Okay. At one point, I've said before, a lady named Anna on Prepared But Not Afraid wrote me one time and said that every week, somebody I know that she knew personally from Southern California was moving to the Ozarks. This was years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. All right. So, a lot of people, retired military, especially Navy SEALs. I guarantee you the Navy knows something that we don't. I just did a screenshot of Mr. Was it BB&B? No. Another guy. BP Earthwatch. BP Earthquake Watch. Look up that guy. Look at his thing. One of the latest videos had a map of the fact that there's supposedly molten carbon. It had a map of the molten carbon underneath Yellowstone and the West. Guess what? It's exactly what I was saying about the whole missing area of the Western United States on so many future maps of America. Get a clue. Once it erupts, all that solid, what you perceive of as solid ground, it's not solid ground because, number one, it's not on the craton. Okay? Here is, okay. Here's the craton's edge. Okay, right here. From here to the east is solid 120 miles thick. Sits on the magma and it's lighter than the magma, it floats. Okay? Solid, 120 miles down. Boom. Over here, it's less than 60 miles thick. It's also sitting on molten carbon. Why do you think the West Slope is so proficient at growing massive amounts of food? Because it's sitting on a gigantic warming tray. What do you incubate your seeds on? Warming trays. The Western Slope is a gigantic warming tray. I'm just saying that as my personal theory, but I have done research and I believe it's verifiable. Okay, so if this from here down is liquid, and this is 120 miles and this is 40 miles, here's your tectonic plate surface out west of the Rockies. This is the Rockies. Okay, and this is liquid, and this happens to crack, or it starts at the coast and comes cracking in. Watch a la the what's going on at Yellowstone, Hawaii. The lava flow pouring like a big pipeline over the cliff. Pretty cool. And then finally the whole cliff falls away. So it didn't do it anymore. It was shooting out over the cliff. I mean, like a huge, looked like a 50-foot diameter, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50-foot diameter, solid thing of lava hitting the ocean. So if you're not aware of the fact, Hawaii is the largest mountain in the world. It's the tallest mountain in the world. It's taller than Mount Everest because it starts at the Pacific floor, the ocean floor. The peak, the little tip is just the speck of a needle on top of the mountain. And it is a volcano. It's 5 volcanoes. The Hawaii Islands are 5 volcanoes. They are a new continent. This is not going to stop. It's going to continue until you have a continent the size of who knows, Australia. It will fill up the whole middle part of the Pacific Ocean there. So that's just, possibility, conjecture. But the lava here, once that blows, this is all going to just go crack, flow, gone, history. Now you have oceanfront property right up to the Rockies, just like all those maps show. And about 10 of those maps do show. I've done them. I've talked about it over enough. I'm not going to go into it again. I'm going to try to keep this short. Yeah, right. Anyway, just covering that and the fact that, obviously when it comes to relocation, strategic relocation, your guide to strategic relocation in America deals with nothing strategic. Joel Skousen's book, give me the $30, do what I tell you to do, save yourself about $50,000. Give me 10% of your net worth, okay? Do what I tell you to do, and you'll be richer and you'll still be alive, You know, those guys telling people to move here and move there are just full of just bovine scatology BS, okay? Pure and simple. James Wesley, Rawls. Move here to Wyoming, where we're sitting under Yellowstone. There's only 5 people per square mile. You know what? There's a really good reason there's only 5 people per square mile in Wyoming. Because it's a really bad place to live. Anyway, one of the highest suicide rates in the country is Casper, Wyoming, because of the wind, you know. It's like it drives people insane and they get depressed and they cap themselves, you know. So, anyway, lights out, reading that book, understanding the moral of the story as far as I'm concerned is stick with friends, take care of your friends, take care of your neighbors, you'll take care of each other, share what you got, and bring in as many people as possible, and you'll be okay. That's the message. And that's the message of the Ozark Plateau. It's the message of the Well-Fed Neighbor Alliance. The best defense in hard times is a well-fed neighbor. It's the message behind Zig Ziglar's key to success in anything. If you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. You know, a good man draws a circle and brings within it his wife and children. Other men draw a larger circle and bring within it their brothers and sisters. But some men must draw a much, much larger circle and bring within it many, many more. Your father was one of those men. You must decide whether you are as well. And that's my mission. That's what I'm doing. So, my point is this. Okay? Do I want to start another video or not? The point is that it's going to go geometric. It's going to go exponential. Okay? We bring in Mel gets here. She can sew. She can do different things. She has skills. She has talent. She has knowledge. You know, this and that. You know, Jersey here brought in stuff. You know, has some skills, has talents, or whatever. She has a sewing machine. I haven't seen it in operation, but she's got one. So there's things that you can do. Okay. We have a certain amount of capability here on this 2 acres, not a lot, but it's got good reception. I mean, this is my headquarters right now. Okay, you know, I've got semi amount of peace and quiet, you know, partially, and so I can do videoing. So it's a place where I can function right now. Got great reception. So I'm looking for my Wi-Fi. Pray that I can find my blankety blank Wi-Fi unit. I don't know what happened to it. My hotspot. I'd like to have it because it would help the mobile. I can tap onto Wi-Fi from my tablet or my phone for the Google Chrome notebook, but you know that would help me. Anyway, exponential. Okay, you have a graph. Okay, that's like this, and that's just a steady growth. Okay. And then you have the graphs that look like, if I can turn my hands over, you know, I can't. There you go, you know, where this is your baseline and it goes, and suddenly it goes, you know what exponential means. That's what's going to happen. The more people get here, the more capability we have to bring more people in, and then it's going to get more severe, okay? California is not going to be any better place to live. There's an exodus out of San Francisco. Can't afford to live there. People are leaving for a lot of reasons. A lot of them are homeless now. They burned their homes. They've done this and they've done that, and mudslides and Pineapple Express, whatever. But it will get to the point where now, many years ago, about 1994, a young kid came and spoke at our Patriot group, and he was supposedly the spokesperson for a little group of cadre of NSA kids that went AWOL. Think Edward Snowden times 5 or 10. It was a group of them, 5 or 10. So what he told us was, and everything he said made absolute sense. I mean, it's like he really seemed to know what he was talking about, or he was a great phony, but whatever. Everything he said made sense and fit the picture. He was the public spokesperson. Everybody else was underground, and they were holding all the the Edward Snowden cards, the absconded information to make sure he stayed alive so he could go out and talk. So, minor technicality, minor thing that he said was that he said the NSA is always the most advanced, most futuristic, scientific, science fiction type technology that you know of. The NSA is 15 years ahead of that, and DARPA, they're 15 years ahead, 20 years ahead of that. I first heard about, the SR-71 Blackbird, like about, I don't know, the 70s, Reagan era, 80s maybe. They started building that in 1948, 49. So before I was even born, they were building that thing. It was like, wow, that's like a spaceship, man. Well, they started building it 40 years, 30 years ahead before that, before anybody knew about it. It was secret. So anyway, but one thing he said was, this is what I want to get to. Listen to this, burn it into your mind. He said, you want to relocate? He said, well, the day's going to come when there's going to be entire convoys of people relocating. There will be convoys of semis. He said, just tag along. So he foresaw that time. I've foreseen it for years too, from a different viewpoint, similar, a scenario in which, science fiction scenario in which it applied and did happen, and that is the Out of the Ashes series by William Johnston. And it's a men's, action, blah, 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 sci-fi, nuclear war, blah, 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 kind of like, Lights Out. But a whole series of them, 30, 40, I don't know. I read a bunch of them. Out of the Ashes, Valor in the Ashes, Bravery in the Ashes, Courage in the Ashes, Rising from the Ashes, Smoke in the Ashes. They all had ashes in them. But as I was reading them, I made the statement to my wife. I said, this is not science fiction. It's history. It just hasn't happened yet. And I've made that statement before. I'm not going to say EMP or whatever, but this is history. It just hasn't happened yet. Now, am I talking this scenario? Am I talking San Antonio? No, but the breakdown, the man's inhumanity to man, the evil, the grossness, the stupidity, the need for this, stepping over fences and, night vision, whatever, it's all history. It just hasn't happened yet. So plan ahead, buy some of those things ahead of time, and you'll be in better shape. So as this happens, what they did in the books Lights Out, the Ashes series, was they would literally pull into a town. It's basically abandoned, and they would take everything. I mean everything. The fuel out of every gas station, every battery in every shop, every tool, because they had the semis, they had the capability, flatbeds, reefers, everything, every battery, every piece of food, if it was an empty town, whether by pandemic or whatever, they would just really empty it. There's no human life form. And they would do that with people. In other words, if they came to an area, their rule was, this guy's kind of a humanist, Johnson. He believed in education was man's savior. But if they came to a town and the people were organized and they could defend themselves and they seemed to have good, a system going on, they would help them out. If they pulled in and the kids weren't being treated right and the lawns weren't mowed and the yards were trashy and they just seemed like a bunch of, bums, they would take the children and leave the people. They didn't kill them, but they would just take the kids because they could give them a better life. So, if they were dirty and, didn't have any diapers and they're walking around naked and filthy and diseased and their teeth are falling out, they would take the kids. So if the town opposed them, they would wipe them out. If they wanted to fight, they had the armament to give them the fight. So anyway, just a men's story. Point being is the idea of massive relocation. That is going to happen. It is going to happen, okay? No question. Not a theory, not science fiction. It's history. It just hasn't happened yet, okay? So whatever I said there, it's going to happen, okay? It will be, now, when that tails off and transportation is no longer possible, then people will be walking. no question. Again, you know, that's going to happen too. So, alrighty, that's about it. Just brainstorm on, pray about, you know, ideas, contribute. If there was a way I could go out and drive Margot here, I would do it. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to leave the Ozark Plateau. But if, you know, someone could, I'm just saying, if there was some way to get someone there, or someone that was there wanted to come out for a trip for a vacation, drive her out and, you know, fly back, take a bus back, take Amtrak back. You know, if you can do that, let me know. That's basically that's the main thrust of what I'm wanting to get across, is brainstorm on how to help these single women get out here. Because, you know, again, like Mel, like Jersey, Margot has stuff. Sister Sue out in California has some stuff, some really good stuff. You know, there's people that are already here that brought their stuff with them, thank heavens, you know. So, need stop at landing spots, SLSs, so that they can land on their feet, you know, get back on their feet. Wake up from the days and just the stress and the turmoil and the strain of moving, and get back on their feet, be productive, and dig in, help out, and get ready to help the next person. That's the more people we have. You got 2, and then you got 4, and then you got 8. Do the math on, or get your calculator, or just do the thing on, would you rather me give you $1 million or a penny doubled every day for a year? You know, yeah. So go figure that one out, or look it up. You know, it's pretty simple to figure. But all right, that's it. That's Jerry Diamond. If y'all's listening to this, y'all are the remnant. And now, lights out. Some of you are going to be PO'd, but that's not my fault. I shouldn't have talked so much, but oh well. I wanted to get that out. All right, it's Jerry Diamond. Pasta lasagna. No. Hasta la vista, baby. Bye.